Welcome back to Lehigh Carbon Community College's Workforce Insights, where we explore the strategies and people shaping today's workplace and tomorrow's leaders. I'm your host, Wendy Beltzner. Today we're talking about leadership at the highest level, what it truly takes to guide an organization through disruption, rapid change, and economic uncertainty. Whether it's tariffs, rising cost, or the transformative force of artificial intelligence, one thing is certain. Senior executives are being asked to navigate more complexity than ever before. My guest today knows that challenge firsthand. Rick Fehr is an executive coach, educator, and former CEO with more than 30 years of leadership experience in the financial services. He successfully guided his organization through 9/11, the 2008 financial crisis, and the COVID-19 pandemic, all while sustaining growth and organizational stability. Rick is also a certified chief executive and risk manager with executive studies from Wharton, Cornell, and UVA Darden. His specialties are strategic visioning, organizational effectiveness, and leading through change. Rick has played a key role also in designing the Executive Leadership Mastery course, which is the fourth level of our Leadership Success Series. This level helps senior leaders develop the vision, agility, and strategic foresight that they need to thrive in today's evolving marketplace. So Rick, welcome to the podcast. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here today to share my experiences and some insights. You'll notice some of my responses today involve the use of chunking, where we take complex topics, boil them down to a couple key ideas. I think it's easier for the presenter, and I think it's easier for our audience as well. Instead of having 10 or 15 minutes of all this, you can walk away with some key ideas that you can drill into later.
Sounds super. All right, are you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Okay. So Rick, you guided your organization through some of the most turbulent times in modern history. I understand you did this while maintaining more than 6% annual asset growth and well above average customer satisfaction and value delivery. That's amazing.
Thank you.
How do you teach today's executives to prepare for and lead through that level of uncertainty, especially as AI and automation reshape industries?
Absolutely. Great question, Wendy, and certainly lots to unpack. So as I mentioned before, let's break it down into something we can hopefully remember. And for this first question, I'm going to use the extension of PowerPoint, which is PPTX. We're going to talk people, process, technology, and X would be that unknown out there that we all need to tackle and be ready for. So let's talk people. Certainly AI, and maybe someday AGI, will transform leadership by handling data analysis, data monitoring, rule enforcement, optimization, supply chain evaluation. But we as leaders need to take that free time that we have by leveraging the value of AI and use that time to build coaching, trust, caring, listening, inspiration, and shared purpose. That's not something the machine can do. That's something that we as leaders need to do. As you once told me, people quit managers, not their jobs. And I truly believe that because leadership quality remains decisive. The second idea is process. AI excels at downtime tracking, root cause analysis, condition monitoring, and maintenance insights. But we need to effectively process that machine efficiency with the human connection. This bimodal approach and we'll see this through several questions today, it's always about a balancing act, right? You have a competing priorities, but how do I remain in balance with these competing priorities? So this bimodal approach in the process of operational precision and customer satisfaction is extremely important. Technology. AI is accelerating. Change is increasing at an increasing rate. We as leaders must now become AI-augmented leaders. We need to expect team anxiety around automation. We need to address it directly, and we need to address it empathetically. Reinforce that the right people will stay on the bus. Yes, your roles may change, your roles may change and evolve, but change does not have to equal obsolescence. And that's the message we need to get to our people. You're on the bus. We want you on the bus. Your seat might change, but we're in this together.
Love it.
And then, of course, X is the unknown, right? So strategic planning for me has evolved early in my career as more about a financial forecast. We would look at the budget for next year, make a guess on what was happening. My experience with credit unions has been we buy and sell money, so it's the commodity. So we guess what rates we're going to do, what our pricing strategies were, but you had to get it right. From there we went to the SWOT analysis. From there we went to strategic planning and eventually strategic visioning. And if you're having trouble negotiating your landscape with things like that, there's a lot of great opportunities out there to learn. So for example, Porter's 5 Forces I found very valuable. Peaks and Valleys, being simply awesome. And even the book The Present, which teaches you the value of the present. So success for us came from actions that survive and thrive across multiple scenarios. Again, it's not about trying to guess it right. You say, well, if I get this right, great. If I don't get it right, we're still going to be okay. My risk tolerance was generally along the lines of I'd rather be half right than exactly wrong.
Oh.
So in closing perspective for the first question, I would say we did navigate successfully these past crises. Was 9/11, 2008, or COVID-19. It was more about being flexible and being dynamic, not about predicting what's ahead of you. So success came from adaptability, not betting on a single future. And I love to tell stories. So in this case, I would say, think of Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, right? Jack is us as leaders. The candle that's in front of us is an obstacle. How do we get over that obstacle? It's with agility and dynamic thinking. Otherwise, of course, I'd fall in the candle, get burned, and it wouldn't be very good. So we need to be dynamic. We need to have agile, but we also have to remember that our people are so important. Emphasize you matter, you're important. I carry you on the bus. Your seat may change, but we're in it together. We're going to win together, and I have your back.
Oh, that's so neat.
Thank you.
That's neat. That's a powerful framework.
Thank you.
Well, and it underscores that navigating uncertainty really requires a holistic approach, one that balances technology with a human element, just as you mentioned. So that kind of leads perfectly into our next topic. Your background combines financial expertise with strategic visioning, including Kaizen, Blue Ocean, and first principles thinking that you just mentioned. How can senior leaders balance fiscal discipline with the bold creativity that's required for sustainability?
Great question. Thank you. And I mentioned earlier it's about competing priorities. So one of my biggest challenges in my career in financial services was balancing compliance and convenience. So it was like that teeter-totter we used to be on, right? If compliance starts weighing you down, convenience becomes difficult. You have more friction in the system. It just becomes clunky and unattractive. So we're always striving to have that balance. So let's take a look at fiscal discipline. Obviously important to have as an organization. It represents financial stability, sustainability, using your resources properly. And again, we're grounded in the financial metrics that I've used in my corporate finance course and my MBA teaching over the last 5 years. It enables us to be smarter and make more informed decision making from a financial standpoint. But then we have, that's the left brain, right? Then we have the right brain, which says creativity and innovation. Crucial in today's world. It's essential for growth, problem solving, and discovering new opportunities. So you have to decide what type of change makes sense for you. Is it Kaizen, that continuous incremental improvement? Is it discontinuous change where I'm here, like jump up and then I continue on? Is it first principles thinking? But then there's also creative destruction, and that's kind of a scary one that's out there, but sometimes it really works. For example, and again, story. If you think of a kernel of popcorn, I bought it at the store. It has value because I bought it. However, it's not my final consumable. So what do we do with that kernel of popcorn? We apply heat to it, we apply change to it, it explodes, and now it's a much more attractive deliverable to our final consumer. So if we're in a situation where that kernel of popcorn, where it's becoming an old idea, we need to create new value with that. So that's where creative destruction comes in. It's a scary topic sometimes for the team, but it is extremely valuable. So I would say in closing, financial discipline fuels creativity. Knowing the numbers gives us permission to risk intelligently. Dashboards can guide decisions, but should not constrain innovation. The blue ocean, big fan of blue ocean. I don't have time to fight the other sharks. I don't want the red ocean stuff. I want to be able to take my organization to a place where I can focus on my team. I can focus on value delivery to our customers. So even in difficult markets, find a way to get to that blue ocean. So it's not creativity or control, it's creativity through control. Thank you.
Well said, yeah. It's fascinating to reframe the blue ocean concept as a human strategy. That idea that a unique people-first culture is the ultimate competitive advantage seems to really depend on real unity. So when you coach executives, what steps do you recommend to move from those who have their individual agendas to genuine organizational unity?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Wendy. So let's go back to that use of chunking, like I said before. Let's find something that is easy to remember. So coming in here today, what's the topic for today? Or you have a meeting, what's the topic for the day? So let's take that word topic, for example, and let's break it down into teamwork, objectives, positivity, investment, and communication. These are the things that when your team leaves the meeting, it's not like, oh, there's 20 minutes, I'll never get back. It's more like, oh yeah, that's that word topic. Like, maybe it's something that sticks a little bit. So teamwork, encourage collaboration and shared responsibility. Try to break down the silos and get to that wonderful place with synergy of 1 and 1 equals 3. And often in our team meetings, we would break up the audience into smaller groups, making sure back office, front office are together, because you know what, not an unintended benefit, but an intended benefit was getting the team to know each other. So we start to build that teamwork. Let's break that down. Instead of a bunch of silos, we're kind of in the same corral together, right? We're all in this together. Objectives, clear, simple, meaningful. I'm not there to impress my audience. I'm there to share my ideas, get some ideas back from everybody so we can all learn. The greatest leaders ask questions every day and are be ready to learn every day. So we would explain how the objectives support the organization's viability and team success. And then daily we would reinforce that as we direct our activities towards those goals. Positivity, absolutely. Positive, respectful, empowering work environment. The last thing you want to do, as noted in the Abilene paradox, the last thing you want to do is take that trip to Abilene that nobody wants to take, have a terrible lunch, come back, and realize nobody wanted to go anyway. So the silence leads to unproductive decisions. You need to have that safe to say culture where healthy disagreement, professional disagreement is welcomed. Investment. Invest the time, invest the training and resources in your employees, like tending the garden. Oftentimes you're looking at a budget and you need to slash, and guess what? The training budget is where we go to sometimes. Be very careful with that because you'll have stagnation within the team you don't even notice. Eventually your garden starts to wither and then it's oftentimes too late. And when the employees feel valued, when they feel like they're seen, when they feel like you're investing in their future, they're going to feel like part of the future.
Absolutely.
And the last one is communication. Foster open, honest, two-way communication. Encouraging the sharing of ideas, concepts, and feedback. Again, use mixed groups. I'm not saying we can use all the ideas, but I would explain to you why that won't work instead of just saying, it doesn't make sense. Or, I turned this idea in 2 weeks ago, I didn't hear anything. Well, I'm not going to waste my time again. So, can we use it? Yes or no? If we can't, explain why. If we can, let's drill a little bit deeper into that. So, I would say, alignment begins at the top. Leadership must have a common language, a common vision, and again, when you look forward to that sustainable improvement, the blue ocean strategy, use the human experience as a competitive advantage. That's what we did. I mean, my front office team were the face of the credit union. The back office, the finance folks, they made sure we had the money to do what we did. We grew. Again, my credit union was in the top 10% of the US by according to assets.
Wow.
But we, as Jack Welch once said, you need to be small at being big. So I love to scale. It allows us to do things, but I never lost that sense of family, trust, and community, which is really the true differentiator of a well-run machine. So how to wrap it up, I would probably say when people understand the metrics that matter and they know how they connect with your mission and you have that shared vision and shared values, you move from compliance, and hopefully never malicious compliance, but you move from compliance to commitment, and let's get that 1 and 1 equals 3 and let's win together.
Thank you for that practical topic framework. It's clear that building unity is an intentional process. Your point about investing in people's growth is a perfect segue to my next question. So after decades as a CEO, you transitioned into academia to teach corporate financial management and mentor emerging leaders. So I'm curious, what did that shift teach you about how experienced executives can continue to evolve?
I would say overall that the lessons learned as a CEO or as a leader in an organization of any level, the skills you learn are portable, and they should be able to be applied to any number of settings. So yes, so I retired in 2021. I joined a local university to teach their corporate finance course in the MBA program. I had a wonderful mentor. Dr. Joe was awesome to me. He allowed me to ask questions, but he allowed me to also bring my real world learnings. So it was, we had the technical side, but then we had the experiential learning as well. So the portability of leadership skills allowed me to make that transition. And I would say if we go back, even if we go back from academia to consulting or teaching a course, we can go back to the same way. It's a two-way street. So the leadership principles from the CEO role effectively transferred to the classroom: clear communication, defined goals, supportive coaching. It applied in both scenarios. The emphasis on helping individuals succeed, even if they have different speed limits in the room. So, I could have brought my corporate finance book, it's a lot of gobbledygook in there, right? So my job was to take this gobbledygook, if you will, and I had CPAs in the room, they understood it. But I had folks in the room that were in healthcare management and they wanted to become a manager in a healthcare role.
Right.
I'm certainly not the person to start an IV, and they had trouble being a financial manager. But taking the time to work with them, to find a way to relate to them. I had students that we had one class a week, but then I would meet with them separately on the other side saying, look, you matter, your success is important to me. So that ability to show I'm there, you can connect with me, but that bringing in that experiential learning, in addition to the complex topic, I believe took it from just 2D theory that I just got to pass the final and I'll never. So from that 2D theory to 3D practical understanding really helped me out. So again, it's just that your success is important to me. This sounds so simple, but sometimes we get wrapped up and we forget about it. So the academic experience validated that leadership ideas are universal across settings, improved ability to know your audience and communicate at all levels, and adding mentoring and talent development tools to the personal level was certainly an awesome tool in my toolkit. So I would say another key insight for me was I learned from my students. I'm not the guy there that had all the answers. I wasn't the guy in the corner office who always had the right answers. The most confident leaders are the ones that ask questions every day and are willing to learn, willing to listen and learn.
That's true. That's really true. It's inspiring to hear your leadership journey. It truly never ends, and even seasoned executives can find new avenues for growth. Community colleges rarely offer executive-level coaching, yet your approach brings that guidance to a more accessible platform. What unique advantage does a community-based executive coaching model provide to regional industries who are navigating uncertainty?
Great question. Community college, again, if I'm looking for my way to remember these things, community college like CC, I'd say it's more about collaborative consistency. So as a community college, you can provide local talent that's reliable, not a turnstile of consultants that come in, disappear at the end of the day. So if you're working with me over a series of a couple weeks, I'm the guy that comes back the next week. Ask questions from the week before. Let's build on what we learned together. So it's that continuity. So yesterday's topic becomes today's progress, not a reset of new faces. So, and think of community, right? Community is like common unity, shared goals, shared growth. Let's build a path forward together, familiar interactions rather than a consultant turnstile. So looking at the community college, local flavor, strong expertise, consistent talent pool, trust, familiarity, building learning outcomes. And again, just knowing that this high quality leadership is available without some of the challenges of having to go outside the area and find what you're looking for. And I think that regional resilience by equipping leaders to adapt to the challenges. And sometimes there's things happening locally that outside consultants may not be plugged into. So it's leadership development that's both high caliber and accessible, which is exactly what our region needs right now.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, I like that. Common unity. I'm learning things. Well, Rick, before we wrap up, I want to give our audience a glimpse into what it's actually like to work with you. When you retired, your team gave you a gift, which read, "The top 10 reasons we call you our blue ocean leader." And this says a lot about the impact that you had on them. For those listening who may consider working with you through the college, what were some of the things you did as a leader that earned you that title, and how might those same qualities show up in your coaching?
Absolutely. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, so we had, on the way out, we had several gifts and, the goodbyes, but I had one, I got a list that says the top 10 reasons why Rick is my blue ocean. And this came from my front office team. Again, these are the folks that are engaging our members, providing the experience. They're the face of the credit union. Your finances can be as strong as you want them to be, but if that interaction with the member fails, if the person answering the phone just doesn't give a great experience, we're vulnerable. So our sustainable competitive advantage was always our people. So the top 10 reasons, I'll be quick. Ended meetings with a feel-good story or laugh. What did that mean to me? People left energized, not drained. Took the time to talk about our families. Guess what? You matter. Your life matters. I know you spend more waking hours here than you probably do with your family, but we're hopefully your work family. Explain concepts simply. You know what? It simply made everyone feel included and capable of understanding what we're talking about. Make every job feel important. There's no hierarchy in value. In fact, we never had titles on our doors. We were all in this together.
Love it.
Always put members and staff first. Well, our success is rooted in people, not numbers. Yes, the numbers are like the stool I'm sitting on today. It supports our efforts, but the face, the interaction is really about that human connection. You taught to express, not impress. Like I mentioned, get rid of the gobbledygook. Make ideas accessible. Make ideas understandable. Give them something like the word PPTX or topic that they can walk away with and say, yeah, I kind of remember that. Never flaunted being president. Oftentimes I would go out if I had somebody out front that needed my assistance. I would come out and say, yeah, hi, I work with Al. And Al taught me a lot. Maybe I can help you today. Let's work on this together.
And they never knew who you were?
Not unless they asked.
Wow.
Now, sometimes if I needed to juice to get something done, I would introduce myself, as president and CEO to kind of lay the framework for that. But it was just part of the team. Al and I work together. We're going to solve your problem. Yeah. Let's move on. Built presence through general connection. Chatted with members. I can remember sitting on the floor in the lobby playing with the kids as the members were doing their business. You know what? I'm okay. Stay approachable. Stay easy to deal with. One of my children gave me a gift one time, and it said, you're a great dad who knows how to be a CEO, you know how to be an adjunct professor, but you still laid on the sofa or floor and watched SpongeBob with us. So figure out what hat makes sense for that particular situation. Make the team feel like family. Core idea behind loyalty, unity, and synergistic performance. And one of my favorite was one day they said, create trust so staff feel comfortable protecting you. So I had a situation one time where I was in a meeting and there was a spider came off the vent and was sitting on my shoulder. And I had my senior teller sitting next to me and I felt this. And I looked over and I'm like, Anne Marie, what are you doing? And she said there was a spider in your shoulder. So we laughed, and eventually I made a pipe cleaner spider and put it on her desk and this and that. But the idea there is, what is your spider? And will your team be confident enough to swat it away before you even notice it? So yes, we laughed about it, but that spider was very important because that was a threat I didn't even know existed. They saw it, right. I didn't, and they took care of it before I even said anything. So every reason on this list centered on relationships, humanity, and connection. There was no financial aspects. There was no financial performance metrics. It was about culture, communication, humanity. That's where we got the 1 and 1 = 3. That's the reflective leadership we need in our team, that we create community, loyalty, general teamwork. And you know what? We're in this together. We're going to win together. I got your back. So let's go and let's win.
Wow, that is powerful. Wow.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Gosh. Well, Rick, thank you for sharing your insight and your
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you.
It's clear that the combination of strategic foresight, financial acumen, and human-centered leadership is what today's executives truly need. To our listeners, if you're a senior leader, director, or executive looking to elevate your organization's performance, we invite you to explore the Executive Leadership Mastery Level 4 program through Lehigh Carbon Community College's Center for Workforce Development. This advanced program blends strategic visioning, digital transformation, and executive coaching to help leaders build their organizations with clarity and confidence no matter what the future brings. You can learn more or register at lccc.edu or email leadershiptraining@lccc.edu for upcoming cohort dates and executive coaching opportunities. I'm Wendy Beltzner, and this has been Workforce Insights.